Restore us again, O God of our salvation, and put away your indignation towards us. Will you be angry with us forever?
Will you prolong your anger through all generations? Will you not revive us again, so that your people may rejoice in you? Show us your unfailing love, Lord, and grant us your salvation. I think Psalm 85 gloriously captures a number of the themes that we've seen through Christian history concerning revival. Throughout the scriptures, the church grew massively in the Roman Empire, but they weren't allowed to gather in mass numbers. They were hardly allowed to gather at all. So revival looks different in different times of church history. In the medieval world, revival came often through the monks and the friars, men and women who wandered from town to town and preached and then went to the next town. The Great Awakening happened in Britain and in America, in the American colonies. Mass movements, mass conversions, often out of doors, where preachers like Edwards or George Whitefield or John Wesley, Charles Wesley, saw massive crowds, saw in those crowds all the social hierarchies collapsing. So men and women were standing next to each other. Black and white, old and young, rich and poor were all mingling. This is now an experience of something bigger than they'd ever known. And so it's a picture of God's gospel purposes, which is all the nations gathered around the throne praising the Lamb. So in the last 100 years, there's been revivals in China with the underground church. There's been revival in East Africa. The church in Korea is massive. 150 years ago, it barely existed. Even in the last few years, seen the revival in Asbury, in Kentucky, in the US. A glorious movement of God's Spirit.
How this encounter with the Holy Spirit started is a group of students didn't want to stop worshiping, and then they received the Holy Spirit in honesty and in genuineness, and they started sharing their testimonies, and then it didn't stop.
I was one of the people who stayed immediately after the chapel service. We said people are allowed to continue to worship, but I just continued to sit in my seat and pray and just reflect on who God was. I went to my 12 o'clock class, and then when I got out of class, I heard the singing, and I said, okay, that's weird. Why is this still continuing? It was surreal. The peace that was in the room was unexplainable. A couple buddies and I just went to run around to the different classrooms and barged in on classes and said, revival's happening.
It's not fake. It's something that's real, and it's truly why we say taste and see that the Lord is good. You can't truly understand until you actually come and taste and see for yourself.